Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Happy to Do It, where we are happy to discuss all things AWS managed services. Today, our special guest is Bappa Dutta. If you know Bappa, then you know the AWS MSP program. He is our global PSA, and we are so excited to have him here. Thank you so much for joining us, Bappa. Today, we're discussing why we validate partners in our program. So firstly, tell us what the AWS MSP program validation is and why it's important for partners and customers.
Sure. And first of all, thank you, Betty, for having me here today. Super excited about this episode. Now, coming back to your question, the AWS program validation is essentially the gold standard for MSPs in the AWS ecosystem. It's a rigorous third-party audit that thoroughly evaluates an organization's capability to provide comprehensive managed services for their customer. Think of it as AWS ways of saying, these partners really know what they are doing. The validation process checks everything from how MSPs approach cloud strategy, from operations to security, migrations, and service management. For MSPs, it's invaluable because it differentiates them in the market and proves their expertise is not just a talk. It's validated by AWS themselves. For our joint customers, it provides peace of mind knowing they are working with a partner who has proven their capabilities across the entire cloud lifecycle. They can be confident that AWS partners are following AWS best practices and have the expertise to help them achieve their cloud goals. This program also keeps evolving, ensuring partners stay current with the latest cloud innovations and methodologies. So to summarize, in today's rapidly evolving cloud landscape, Betty, having this validation is really crucial for both partners and the customer to ensure successful cloud transformation.
That's great. And speaking of evolution, we have a new version of the checklist that just launched, version 7.0. So what is in that new version of the checklist that helps partners attain the badge in a more streamlined way while maintaining that high bar that you referred to as the gold standard?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me this question again. AWS MSP team has significantly improved the AWS MSP program validation process with checklist 7.0 by building a hybrid model. Now, instead of conducting everything during the two-day audit process, now the process is split into two manageable parts. First, the partners complete the specific prerequisite controls offline. Once these controls are approved by AWS, partner proceed to a focused one-day technical validation where the external auditors assess the remaining control. This new approach simplifies the entire process while maintaining AWS high standard. We are not lowering the bar, making it sure and efficient for the partners to achieve the MSP badge. Think of it as preparing your homework before the final exam. You get to thoroughly prepare the foundation elements in advance, making the actual validation day more focused and effective.
That's great. I love that you mentioned that we are not lowering the bar. We are simply making it a little bit more logistically accessible for partners to get through this audit. So thank you for that. Finally, for our partners and prospects that are tuning in, what are the three most critical things that a partner should be doing to prepare for the AWS MSP audit?
Sure, another great question. So based on my experience, there are three key steps that significantly impact the audit success. First and foremost, assign a dedicated PM from your managed services practice to quarterback the entire validation process. This person needs to be empowered to bring all the cross-functional teams together and orchestrate the preparation effectively. Second, invest time in thoroughly understanding the checklist and the calibration guides. These guides are golden. Again, they explain not just what each control requires, but why it's critical and how to build the capability effectively. Finally, and again, this is another crucial thing to understand, conduct an honest self-assessment with your cross-functional teams. This is not about just checking boxes. It's about fairly evaluating where you stand against the requirement and identify any gaps before your actual audit day. Think of it as a dress rehearsal. You want to find and address any issues during the practice and not during the actual performance. These three steps create a solid foundation for a successful MSP audit.
That's great, Bappa. Thank you so much. And I really like that you mentioned the self-assessment, by the way. The reason we make that required now in our program is because it is such a crucial step for ensuring that you understand where, if there are any gaps, and then you can reach out to your AWS team members to address those gaps before you get to the final audit. That's wonderful. Thank you again, Bappa, for joining us. It's so good to see you. For our viewers, if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and check the description for some links to resources on how to better prepare for the audit and some other great MSP content that Bappa's prepared. We will see you next time on Happy to Do It.